so brilliant about Trump, and I've been waiting my whole life for some politician to do this. He didn't take the standard Republican Party positions. It wasn't about tax cuts on small government and abortion. He didn't take any standard Democrat positions. He looked around the country, saw the problems that exist, and by the way, we've just had 8 years of a Republican president followed by 8 years of a Democrat president. The problems that Americans are upset about are obviously the ones that neither political party wants to deal with. What Trump did is he just went to the biggest problems and took positions that were 60% popular, in some cases 80% popular.
Is that always wise to do, though, for a politician, to become just known as a populist? Sometimes politicians have to lead the crowd rather than follow the crowd. He
absolutely was leading. The immigration issue has been purposefully, deceptively, cruelly suppressed from our mainstream media, both liberal and conservative media, for 10 years now. The United States Congress, along with both parties' presidents, both parties' candidates for president, they have been trying to sneak amnesty through in the dark of night on the American people. 3 times they've done it in the last 10 years. And why was it stopped? Was there some huge political faction that rose up in opposition? No, the American people would somehow get wind of it, call in, and shut down the congressional switchboards.
Do you think that some minorities in America, maybe particularly Mexicans, ought to be a little bit worried by now? After Brexit, we had quite a lot of incidents where European citizens, French citizens were sort of spat at. They had nasty things said to them on the street. Do you think the same thing could happen to some Mexican citizens in the United States as a result of what's happening?
No, I think it's preposterous slander on the American people. Americans are nice people.
I was only asking the question.
No, I'm not accusing you of the slander, but I think often, I'm sure there will be such reports, but, one thing that it would be nice to change is that when America brings in immigrants who have no right to be here, how many people are there in the world? A few trillion? No one has a right to come live in America. It is by the good graces of America that people come to live here, and boy, the one thing they assimilate to is the grievance culture in America, going around being aggrieved and making demands all the time, and all of these fake, I'm so oppressed. I've heard this on TV last night. A Muslim friend wrote to me, does he have to leave the country now? Really, I don't think they're going to be leaving. They're just going to be whining. Maybe we could stop that, because we really want to do things that are good for all people who live here and not just the ones who arrived last year.
One of the great things about America is no matter which part of the country you come from, which side of the political divide you're on, that there is an innate respect for the office of the presidency. Now, Donald Trump has not displayed any respect at all for Barack Obama during this campaign. How difficult is that conversation that they're having at the moment going to be?
I think this is another misperception pushed by the media about what kind of person Donald Trump is. He's obviously a gentleman. Anyone who knows about his business dealings, he'll fight hard, but is very charming. I'm sure he is winning Obama over as we speak.
You reckon?
Right now.
You reckon?
Pardon?
You reckon?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is what he's known for in his business dealings. And I might add, if instead of listening to the bald statements about Trump being, a brute and his judgment and he's out of control, if you looked at the facts, he fought off his 16 Republican primary opponents, but they were the ones who broke the pledge they jammed down his throat to support the eventual nominee. 3 of them took a pledge in front of 20 million people and outrageously, aggressively campaigned against him from his own party. And still he was a gentleman about it. He invited a lot of them to speak at his convention. Ted Cruz comes and opposes him. That is unprecedented. That has never happened in history. You invite a member of your party and he opposes you from the convention stage. Donald Trump has never attacked Hillary Clinton's supporters. He attacked his opponent. Hillary Clinton called half of Donald Trump's supporters deplorable and irredeemable. She called Bernie Sanders, her primary opponent, his supporters, young men living in their parents' basements. He never attacks the supporters. He's been a gentleman through and through, and just gets his hand bitten off when he's offering an olive branch.
Just finally, people in this country, particularly in the media, are obsessed about the so-called special relationship between Britain and the United States. What are we to make of that Donald Trump called the Prime Minister of Ireland before he called the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom?
I wouldn't. I heard you with that announcement. I wouldn't worry about that at all. We're going back to traditional America. Of course, there's a special relationship with between Trump or between America.
The new Ronald and Maggie.
It was. Well, no, we're a colony of yours, as I was just describing, up until 1970.
No. But I mean, I'm talking about Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher had a unique relationship. Do you think that Donald Trump and Theresa May can emulate that in any way?
Yes, I absolutely do, and probably because that was just assumed. Trump hasn't been a politician before. He's probably not paying attention to the protocol of calling your BFF first, but no, of course.
She is his BFF, new BFF.
Yeah, most of us have a lot of British ancestry. Yes, of course, our two countries are very similar in culture. Down to the genes, in language. Yes, of course, there's a special relationship. And now that you guys have passed Brexit and we've elected Donald Trump, we have even more in common. We're caring about our own people first.
Anne, thank you very much indeed. Great to talk to you again. That's Anne Coulter, the author of In Trump We Trust.